Today we are interviewing Phillip Morales. He is a concept artist, a game developer, and the co-founder of Orb Interactive. What led you to becoming an animator turned video game director?
Well, I started out as a forensic animator, which is actually like accident reconstruction. And it gets a little heavy with that. It's not like a TV show where when the cameras stop rolling and the TV show's over, it's just over. Afterwards, there's a lot of usually heavy things that you have to deal with.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to take my talents and kind of use them either towards movies or video games. And I loved video games, how interactive they are.
Yeah.
It's almost like an interactive movie. And so that's where I went. But when I was looking to get into games, I knew Rick, he also knew me, so when I applied and Rick saw my resume, he was like, oh, I know this guy, and so.
I was like, he's not that good, but we can hire him.
Yeah, we can train him up, maybe.
We could maybe give him a shot.
Yeah.
What prior education and experience did you have before founding Orb?
Well, I went to school at A&M at first for architecture because I just loved buildings and environments like that. And then as I started narrowing down towards like video games, I needed to find something that could kind of narrow down that way. And I went to the Art Institute to do that. After that, I got a job, as a forensic animator. And then I went into video games. Actually did video games for 15 years. That was at TimeGate Studios, yeah. And so we learned a lot, with the guys. And actually two of the other co-founders of Orb, we all worked together there. And so we kind of grew up together in our experience and kind of, learned the ropes back and forth. So after our experience at TimeGate, we decided to band together and put together our collective experience and create Orb Interactive. And then here we are. And this is where we plan all of our coming features and the things that we're going to be working on. And a lot of times it's us just standing right here talking about what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, plot it on the board, and we get to it.
What was the first project you worked on for Gods of Olympus?
Well, the first thing we wanted to do is establish the look and the style for Gods of Olympus, and it really started with Zeus. We knew that we wanted it to be almost like a movie-ish, kind of like Wreck-It Ralph or Disney's Tangled, those kind of movies with the 3D kind of look. We just really loved how that style felt, and we thought it would really translate well to a video game. And so we started with that, and it was Zeus's concept that kind of started everything off. You want to know the truth? Ricky did this when he was in church. The demon. Ricky did this when he was in church, and he had the idea to do Hades like that. And what we had discussed previously is, hey, let's try to do something very different for Hades because we have a very unique opportunity to do something different and unique to our brand. And so it was like, we want to make sure that when you look at our Hades, you're like, yeah, that's Gods of Olympus's Hades. So we tried something a little more this way, where he was a little more thin and maybe conniving rather than a big bolstery type of guy. So that's the first step. It was a sketch. So Rick passed this to me in church. No, I'm kidding. He passed this to me. And then I do what's called a rough sketch. And during this stage, remember we were talking about doing tons of different ideas. Like I did Hades with wings, bat wings. I did Hades where he had a big bushy black beard, kind of like Zeus.
Yeah.
All sorts of things. We tried a lot. And then we came back to this because it was so unique. And we were like, all right, let's go here. So then after the sketch gets approved, then we go to the concept stage. So when I'm concepting, it's like, okay, well, he's Zeus's brother. So let's make sure that they at least look similar to each other in some way. So maybe he's the older, more brawny brother, and he's the more scrawny brother, more of a trickster type. But they still need to kind of look similar to each other. And so during the stage, I would actually even do tricks like bring his beard over and make sure that, if he did have a beard, they would really match up and they'd look all right. So I would do a lot of stuff like that.
How did you and your team think up the concept for Gods of Olympus?
Aegis Interactive actually came to us with the concept, and they had been working on it. for a little while to be a mobile title. And when they contacted us, we were just really impressed with the ideas that they had and how they wanted to accomplish it. So we were on board really from the beginning. And as we've collaborated together, it's been a remarkable journey. So it's been awesome. And this is where the programmers sit. Hello, Jay. It's nice to see you. And Gary.
Hello.
And so again, it's very beneficial that we all sit so close to each other, because when we're working on something, like for instance, I'm working on a ballista tower and some of the upgrades. But as we're working on it, I might see some problems and I'm like, hey, I might need some code support for that. But I can just easily turn around and say, hey guys, can you come take a look at this real quick? Because they can just provide support sometimes right then and there. It's like immediate.
What is your greatest challenge when working as a game developer? Also, what's your greatest challenge when working as a concept artist?
The greatest challenge working as a game developer is really to trust your gut and to trust your instinct, because we all have an idea of what we think is fun, but then as you're creating it, you want to make sure that not only you're having fun, but you're doing it for your fans and the people that are going to play your game. So you want to make sure they're also having fun. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes as you kind of get down the road in production, you start to question yourself, and you can go back and forth, and it's like, no, you have to trust yourself that the original ideas you had, they're going to be fun. Just keep working on them, execute them properly, and trust that instinct. And the same goes with the concept. You want to try things out. It is the time to try things out. So you want them to have a silly look. You better try it out then rather than in full production.
Yeah.
Go scattershot with your ideas. Play them out, let them breathe, and then trust yourself and the team around you that, yeah, when we pick something, this is the way that we want to go, and we go.
How did you end up working with Aegis Interactive, and how did they end up helping your company?
Well, we first started out, we were actually working on another project, and they saw the project. And it turns out that Mark and I, and some of the guys at TimeGate, we'd actually worked together like 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. He used to work at TimeGate. And so when he saw that we were doing this other project, he was like, hey, we need some artists, and these guys, he knew us, and we kind of fit the bill. And so we got together and we looked at what the other guys were doing, and it was just a perfect match. It really worked out well.
Communication is key.
Communication's everything, especially like on a project like ours. Well, really any size project. It's really everything. Mm-hmm. But Rick does all of our character modeling, the 3D modeling for our characters. And as you can see, we're preparing for Christmas, our Christmas post. So we've got Zeus dressed as Santa. And we've got a lot of gifts ready for the fans and the players prepared to go.
What's your biggest piece of advice for aspiring concept artists and game developers?
To immerse yourself in relevant reference. Like really, just surround yourself with either art, or if you want to be an animator, surround yourself with really good animators. And I mean like Disney animators, guys who really are professional and know what they're doing. And that way you have a really clear idea of what it means to be a professional. Well, here's the tower upgrades that we're doing, and they animate. So it's just a one-frame animation, but when they shoot, so it'll fire off. And that's gonna look really funny on camera. But another thing I was working on is like, here's the turret upgrades. Practice with intent. So when you doodle or when you draw or you're just kind of messing around, make sure that you even mess around with intent, as in you're trying to get better at something, clearly get better at something. So those would be the two things I really recommend. Mm-hmm. And it's like looking at your videos, you do the right things. For real, like your entire process is 100% right. I mean, that's exactly
what I've
we
been
do.
studying.
Yeah.
I mean, like, how do they do it? What's their process? Okay, time to copy it, but also add my own thing.
But that's exactly what you want to do. That's exactly what you want to do. So you're already on the right track. And so it's like, just keep doing it, keep practicing. And that's what I mean by when I say practice with intent. Mm-hmm. It's like, identify the things that you could get better at. and then get better at them, like practice that way. Actually,
Is this okay, Phillip?
this is perfect. If you could tilt that present a little towards the camera, that would be awesome. We talked about that yesterday.
No, it's awful. Get rid of it. Scrap it all.
No, it actually looks really good. And what Rick's working on right now is actually all this fur. Like that was something that we wanted to work towards is do a fur shader for hair and stuff like that. So this is like one of the first steps we're taking towards that. And it's just the fur like on his Christmas outfit. But eventually we want to start putting that on their beard, on their hair, and really go the distance.
So you have the rendered area.
Yeah, I'm trying to actually figure out. I have a problem area right here that I cannot figure out. So
Yeah, because
I have to figure out all of these buttons, all of these things. Something in here is not playing well, so I got to figure it out.
Yeah, because he's actually not that good. So it takes him a real long time to figure these things out. So I'm just kidding. No, actually, Ricky is awesome, and that's the truth.
What do you feel is an overlooked or underrated job in the industry?
I actually feel that audio is very, very underrated. Now it goes two ways because some people like to play games or stuff like that without any audio on. They just like to listen to music.
Yeah.
But other players, like myself, I really love to listen to the audio as it goes along with the game.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like this. When you have really good audio, it can really make something come alive in the same kind of way that animation does. Like animation really brings a character to life. I think audio can help complete that. And if you have good audio, that kind of helps round out the experience. It can be amazing. It can really be a complete experience with the audio.
And last but not least, what's your favorite video game?
I actually have a favorite genre of video game. It's the shooter genre. I really love shooters. So I love Call of Duty and Counter-Strike and the Halos and all of those kind of shooters. I really just love them all.
All right, thank you very much for having this interview with us
You're
today.
welcome.
For more information on Behind the Beta and other current projects I'm working on, go to inkrosinc.com. Our next episode will feature Erica Stead, a marketing producer at Gearbox. You can help support Behind the Beta on Patreon, link in the description.